My name is William J. Rothwell. You can call me Bill. Today I'd like to talk about my book, which has been very popular, Increasing Learning and Development's Impact Through Accreditation. And this was co-authored with Sandy Williams and Laine Zabolero. And basically the book is about a new dimension that we can think about when we are trying to improve the robustness and rigor of in-house employee-based training. And of course, ATD has come out with a certification program, the Certified Professional in Talent Development. And I'm a CPTD fellow because I was one of the founders of that certification. But let's look beyond individual certification to the idea of course level accreditation. So let me emphasize that difference. We can certify individuals, but we accredit courses. And when you accredit a course, you are ensuring that a course is in alignment with standards of excellence. So in the book, which is organized in 5 parts, and those 5 parts relate to the areas of standards of excellence for courses. So the first part of the book focuses on structure, responsibility, and control. Basically, that's about the training department and the organization that sponsors courses or other learning experiences. And those learning experiences can be online, they can be on-site, or they can be blended in some hybrid using multiple media. In part 2 of the book, we talk about planning the environment and educational events. So that's about setting up the structure for the experience. If it's in a classroom, what kind of classroom, using what kind of equipment, and set up in what arrangement to facilitate effective interaction between the learners. If it's online, using what platform or platforms, what venues, and so forth, so that it is set up in a way that will encourage learners to be engaged and interact effectively. Part 3 of the book is about the benefits and outcomes of accreditation. And in that part, we talk about making the business case for accreditation. There are organizations that specialize in accrediting corporate training or organizationally sponsored training and development or learning and development efforts. And those organizations establish research-based standards of excellence that courses must meet. And if they meet those standards of excellence, then it's possible, not required, but possible for corporate training or other organizationally sponsored training to be accepted for college credit. That's important to understand because employers spend a lot of money on sponsoring learning and development programs. Some call those talent development programs. And if we can get more bang for our buck, then we are getting more value out of those training experiences. We know we've heard in the mass media about complaints about the high cost of attending college. And one of the most common employer-provided benefits is educational reimbursement programs. If employees attend job-related education, the organization they work for, their employer, may reimburse all or part of the course tuition cost if the participant earns a grade of, in many cases, C or better. And so it's important that if organizations can get college credit for some or all of their training, it can get double the bang for the buck for every dollar invested in in-house training. The organization may be able to help workers drive down the cost of getting college degrees. And that can increase their employability and make it easier for upskilling, reskilling, and new skilling. The fourth part of the book is about course design and delivery. How do we put together a quality learning experience? So course is broadly defined. It's more than just like a college course or a short workshop sponsored by an organization. There are many ways to learn, but they should all meet certain research-based standards of excellence. And that's what we're talking about. Now, today, there are two popular models that guide the rigor of instructional, at least formally designed instruction. That would be the well-known ADDIE model and the SAM model. The ADDIE model is an acronym. It stands for Analyze, Design, Develop, Implement or Instruct, and Evaluate. And those are the steps in the design of a formally planned learning experience. SAM is a different approach, which stands for the Successive Approximation Model. The SAM approach is based on the logic, which some of you may be familiar with, of rapid prototyping. If you don't know what rapid prototyping is, you might wish to Google that, but SAM is basically the application of rapid prototyping to the design of learning experiences. So we rapidly plan a learning experience. We throw it out there and put some learners through it. We see what happens. We plan for it to fail, but we want to learn from our failures. And so we note what worked and didn't work in that learning experience. And then we go back and relaunch it, and we keep doing that until we get closer to outstanding. So that's another way to design in learning experiences. And then finally, the last part of the book talks about assessing the outcomes of learning experiences, maintaining records, and evaluating overall programs. So a program would be a group of related courses or learning experiences. An example of that might be we could offer a program on, say, supervisory leadership. And that might be 20 modules or 10 modules or 5 modules. And when the learner finishes each module, they get some kind of recognition for it, like a certificate. And when they finish all of the components of that learning experience, they also gain some kind of recognition. It might be a plaque or a certificate or some other form of recognition. The idea of the book is to improve the standards and quality of the learning experiences that organizations offer internally. And it can also be used by educational institutions, although they typically have a different approach to accreditation. So if you look at a university, you will often see a note about who accredits the quality of their coursework. And so you can do the same thing with accrediting individual training programs and overall training courses in organizations. So this is probably the future. We need a way to ensure that we get quality, not just from individual trainers who are certified, but also from courses and other learning experiences.